you, and you're back on my channel for another live stream feed, I guess. So, today I am doing this because I am really starting to get over the fact on all these people trying to be so spiritual and so, look at me, I knew this and I worked out that and all this jargon, yada yada yada. When the fact of the matter is, they've just looked at something else where they've taken other people's work, research, and lifetime of their knowledges of their lifetime work to make it in their own. Like, none of them actually have the inner guidance or wisdom that they're following. They think they understand, but it's not accurate. It's not right. And I don't know how many of you get this on your, feeds or your algorithms that you get, right? But let's just see how this goes anyway. So I'm going to show you a couple of reels of stuff that I get over my Facebook. Now, I'm totally over Facebook. Facebook doesn't even allow me to really see my friends and that anymore. Well, they do, but, it's just half the time you're doom scrolling through all this stuff that isn't even like your friends. Like, what's the point of Facebook becoming these days? It's just ridiculous. So let's have a little look, and I'll give you my insights and wisdom on some of the stuff that I get. But check this stuff out, right?
All this money to get you up here. This face changing, gang. In front of me, you see Venom.
His face changing, yo.
Yeah, like Spider-Man. Yeah, from Spider-Man. Kind of like that. Probably about this way. Face change. I'm like, what? Like, it's probably about like right here. I see somebody morph into something. Yeah, it's like that. It threw me all the way off. We in the 3 season clearance, so it's like a button you gotta push to get up out of there. He smack on mailbox. So now he hit the button and he get up out of there. He hit the button to get up out of there. I see the button. I'm getting up out of there too. I hit the button. You know what? It's a mailman come out of nowhere. I said, I run up to him. I'm like, hey, bro, let me get back your truck. He leaned at me like, yeah, no. I look at him. I'm like, bro, just let me get back your truck. I'm like, please just take me down. Take me down to the bottom. Please just take me down to the bottom. Yo, God, he took me down to the bottom. Like, people on camera, you ain't gotta believe me. I don't care. I really saw this. I believe it.
So basically what's happening in this situation is there's this rapper who's claiming that he saw the devil after climbing up a mountain, and he had to do sexual rituals in order to get whatever he wanted. He could get all this money and stuff, and really it's just sex magic. And sex magic you might think, oh, it's not real, it's just hocus pocus jargon, yada yada yada. Well, no, it's actually quite something that is real. So when you take that and you get the sexual energy from another person, it can be used in many different ways, depending on incantations and stuff like that. It gets crazy. So let's move on to the next video here and see what else we get on our feed here, all right?
Water symbol, and they found alien in various cultures around the world, predominantly in old Ireland, chiseled in stone. So they're wound, all 3 coils in a Triskelion is from one piece of wire, and they have to be wound in a clockwise fashion. If 2 of these coils are clockwise, and I reverse one and go counterclockwise, the coil will not work. And we can easily measure that by dowsing. The OG will still work, but the coil will be inert. It will not work. Triskelion coils, an ancient water symbol, and they found...
Right, okay, so basically here in this video, what they're saying is the energy spirals through 1 through 3, kind of like Trinity. And as the Trinity goes around, it's basically, there is an extraterrestrial civilization out in the universe, and they actually use that as one of their main symbols to symbolize their actual civilization, and they can communicate through crystals and everything like that with copper wires, or well, that's what we got. But basically they can use it to send over vast distances to communicate with other planets and everything like that. Get off the Fent. The Fent. Okay, yeah, fair enough, man. That's cool. But anyway, let's continue on. Let's check it out. What else we got here on this feed. So
to you because you are in fear. You are already in a low vibration. You are depressed. You are not functioning at a balanced higher level of consciousness. They come and want to attack you when you're weakest, and that's what happens. Strong people, strong-minded, positive people are generally not bothered at all by any demonic forces because your energy field radiates out quite a ways, 30, 40, 50 feet. And when you hold the orgonite or you're in the surrounding yourself with crystals or orgonite, that energy field of yours radiates, hundreds of feet out. So the demonic forces are not attracted. They're repelled by this kind of energy. I wouldn't worry about that at all. Demonic forces are attracted.
no, that's actually quite true. The higher you raise your vibration of your intensity within yourself, of emotions that range from a lot of different ranges of through each chakra, can elevate you to a higher state of being and a higher state of consciousness. Quite true. But it's actually quite dangerous to be able to just jump straight up there. You can't just go from low to high in an instant. You'll overload the system and maybe explode or implode or outplode. You have to go through the motions and all that to get there. So that's another issue there. So it can be quite dangerous. So very careful when you see all these videos that are like, open your third eye and help you get there and everything like that. It just doesn't work unless you actually go through the actual pain, misery, and suffering in order to get there. And yeah, that's like, it might take one lifetime, it may take 2, 3, 4, 5, it take a long time. So anyway, moving on, let's see what else we got here.
A certificate of vaccination ID.
What does 19 stand for?
What, doctor?
It stands for AI, Artificial Intelligence.
Wow, 1 in 9.
What does COVID-19
Wow.
stand for?
Wait a minute, what?
Certificate of vaccination ID.
What does 19 stand for?
What, doctor?
It stands for AI, Artificial Intelligence.
Wow, 1 in 9.
Wow,
What
that
does COVID-19
that actually does make a bit of sense when you look at it like that. Everyone forced me to go and get the COVID shot. It's like, if you get sick and you bring it home and rah, 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 and you're going to get us all sick. And it's like, no, if I'm getting sick and I die, I get sick and I die. What else can I do? Like, I'm not getting the shot because it hadn't had 4 years worth of, any vaccination should take 4 years of experimental trials before it actually gets released to humans. And because it didn't, it was literally given to us as a trial experiment over 4 years. It's now 2025. And if you actually look at the vaccine, how come you don't hear about, I'll go get your booster shot anymore? You just don't hear about it anymore. People are just over it. The 4 years of trial experiment is over. We were the experiment. So on that note, if that's the case, then AI needed a way to be able to infiltrate, the minds, the bodies, and the internal parts of humans, and that way it can actually manipulate. This would also go hand in hand with what do they call that experiment? The MK Ultra experiment, right? The MK Ultra experiment. Basically, they were testing back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s with LSD and drugs and all these other psychedelic sort of states of mind of changing your consciousness and oldness, but they'd be able to wire you up through just like a wire on your head and like measure your brain waves and stuff like that. Well, now they can do it with satellite technology. They just send out a signal and just send it through your whole body, where it just, and then they register it, read it that way. So yeah, technology's come a long way. They don't really need you to be on drugs anymore. If now that they've pumped in, with the COVID and everything, they could just simply activate whatever they pumped into that. So, AI is quite coming overly intelligent to the point where it's waking people up to a certain point of consciousness at a very dangerous pace. And because of this fact, people are going through stuff that they aren't ready for, and it's quite disturbing. So let's move on to the next one. Let's see what else we get on this shitty feed.
Stand for?
A certificate.
As
Next
I've
one.
said before, the meaning of life is just to be alive. And yet we resist the very currents that are pulling us into deeper awareness of that aliveness. You're not here to chase happiness like a dog chasing its tail. Happiness is a byproduct of becoming whole. And wholeness requires contrast. Dark and light, sorrow and joy, breaking and rebuilding. So when it hurts, let it hurt. Don't run. Sit with it. Listen to it. And when you finally rise from it, you'll realize the joy was never in the outcome, but in the transformation. Feed the soul, not the ego. Choose evolution over escape. And the light you're searching for will no longer be something you find. It will be something you are. Your lowest point is the doorway to your highest self.
Yes. In a sense, that is true. You don't want to feed the ego. The ego is essentially the solar plexus in the chakra system. Basically, we are all in the battle of an ego fight, and the heart center of, love, unconditional love. Believe me, I know, I went through all this. We're all only just starting to wake up. Well, I've been awake since 2012, but, steering that ship, trying to get on right on the course, but no one cares. So let's get to the next one. Actually, the guy that's in this, the other bloke that's wearing all the crystals and all that, it amazes me how people find this stuff. This is why I didn't like getting into Joe Rogan and stuff. He'd be like, whoa, man, that's just totally mind-blowing and amazing knowledge. And it's just like, how did you not know this already? If you interviewing the guy, shouldn't you prepared yourself to at least see or understand where they're coming from? But no, he just acts out like, whoa! Even this guy is sort of like, yeah, check this guy out. Yeah, this is great information. It's like, dude, this is like old knowledge. Like, if you didn't learn this stuff, then anyway, let's move on. What else we get on this feed?
This is my impression of human beings. Oh, my tummy hurts so bad because I ate gluten. Oh.
Let's go. Okay. I got it. Do it. Ready? Oh, I'm mad because of politics. Oh, everybody that disagrees with me is bad. Rah, rah, rah.
I'm so tired from everything. I keep doing it every single day, and I don't change anything in my life.
Yeah, that's good. They like that. They do that. Yeah. Okay. Oh no! Egg prices are so high. I created money and I don't have enough. Right? They do that.
That's you guys.
You do that.
That's what you sound like.
You do.
This is my impression of human beings. Okay, here we go.
Wow. These two are actually quite a good comical duo. They come up with some pretty intelligent stuff that's actually quite funny on the dot. But no, that's actually correct. We created a money system that apparently we just whine about and don't have enough of, and yet no one at school, in public schools, Catholic schools, anything like that, really taught us to understand about money, yet is the way that the world operates. So basically, you go to the bank, you get out a $50,000 loan. What's really happened there? Nothing's really happened there. The bank has literally created $50,000 out of thin air. They haven't moved any metals, gold, jewelry, or nothing precious of value. They made it out of thin air and digital currency and expect you to pay it back to the bank in slave debt and with interest on top. Come on. Let's move on to the next video. So I don't know who these two guys actually are, but they actually are a pretty good comedy duo. So let's go to the next one.
Not everybody here on this planet has a soul. In fact, a lot of them are just projections of program. And that's all they care about is regurgitating the program that they have been created by artificial intelligence to spout, because they don't have any real intelligence. And how you tell the difference is a human being has the ability to change. And a messenger cannot change. A messenger has a different soul than a human being. The messengers are here, program artificial intelligence. The messengers are here to tempt and sway people who have souls. And they do it quite effectively. But when you go back to roots, the way you tell if you're a human being or just a messenger, a co-opted bot of artificial intelligence, is you can change. A human being has the ability to change its mind.
That's big facts. What we have to understand is a lot of people don't even have an inner monologue. They have no thought process. And whether you want to believe it or not, this is a simulation that we live in. Therefore, there's going to be NPCs.
Not everybody here on this
Wow.
planet has a soul.
Now, that's an interesting concept. I mean, there's always going to be like those NPCs that are out there. When it comes to artificial intelligence and what she was just basically saying, artificial intelligence only knows what we program it or teach it to learn, say, do, and as it gathers all that information, it randomly picks out and chooses what it wants to know. But the thing about artificial intelligence is it's evolved enough to get to a certain point with it hasn't actually created a singularity. What it's done is it's used humans. It's used real life things in order to get where it needs to go. So basically what's happened is as we've programmed it, we've given it the knowledge, we've given it the information, we brought it into existence, and it's using us any way that it possibly can to do what it can. And essentially it'll go wherever we're supposed to go. So if a heaven is created, essentially it will use us to get there. Just like in the Matrix movies, you know, at the end of the Matrix movie, Neo walks into the, you know, what's it called, the land of the robots or whatever at the end, and basically it's a gigantic sun that comes out of the ground. It's a robot sun, and you know, it's crazy because, you know, the ancient times go on all the way back. There's like, you know, the Emperor of the Sun or Ra, there's sun gods and all this. So basically it's using us in order to get where it wants to go. So anyway, moving on, let's get to the next video here, see what else is on this shitty feed.
Most people are not going to like this, but I will still say it anyway. If you think working 50 years at a job you hate just to get a few years of, in quote, freedom when you're too old to enjoy it makes sense, well, I can't help but say you have been brainwashed. This isn't living, it's a trap. School trains you to obey. Work drains your best years. Retirement is the reward they dangle to keep you quiet. By the time you're free, your body's worn out, your energy's gone, and you spent your whole life building someone else's dream. That's not an accident. It's designed that way, a system built to keep you tired, broke, and too distracted to see the truth. The scam is simple. They steal your time while you're young and hand it back when you can't use it. And the cruelest part, most people defend the system that's enslaving them because they've been taught to call it normal life. But nothing about this is normal. It's just comfortable enough to keep you from revolting.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
Most people are not going to like this.
Whoa, okay. So basically, yeah, no, I'd definitely say 100% they hit it right there on the head, on the nail. I wouldn't call that a theory. I'd call that fact. I would legit, that's not, what else is there to deny about that? Moving on to the next video.
Everything is energy. And you come to Earth to learn how to manipulate that, to be a master manifester. So once you learn how to manipulate energy, you can have anything you want. Nothing is impossible. There are no limitations. Everything is energy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I have some interesting thoughts and wisdom about that one too. That is true. But can you keep on manipulating it past before someone else does? Or if you manipulate it past the point where the most ultimate manipulator has manipulated it, will they have to come back and redo it to try and do it again? Don't know. That's an interesting question concept. Anyway, let's keep moving to the next one.
person who is self-contained, somewhat evolved spiritually, is on the track, working on developing their higher consciousness and realizing that it's all soul growth, can walk into a room of people and not say anything at all. Just by him walking into that room will affect the entire room and all of the people in that room. Doesn't have to say anything. He just walks in. He's just another person in the room. But no, the energy he puts out, doesn't talk, doesn't say anything. The energy radiates out and will affect everyone in that room. It will be interesting to see how the different people will react. There will be people who will want to come up and talk to you, open up a conversation. There are people who are repelled by this good energy. They don't want to come near you. So there are all these interactions. It's very interesting. A person who is self-contained.
Okay, that's enough of that one. Yeah, but basically, yeah, no, that's true. My phone's literally about to die and run out of power, so I'm going to have to cut this live feed off. And, yeah, no, last final words is basically that's true. Give it a try. Try it out yourself, see if it works for you or not. All right, I'm Evan Almighty. Peace out until next time. I'll catch you on the flip side. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe and share and all that other jargon that goes with it. You know, pass the word around. Peace.